welcome. I'm Heather England. Thank you for joining me for this class on 7 secrets to successful meal planning. And truly what it is how do we get dinner made? How do we plan it, get the groceries for it, and not have it be an overwhelming thing? So if we haven't met yet, my name's Heather England. I run Fit Mama Real Food, a website dedicated to making healthy food, making it easy and simplified for you and your family. I create meal plans. I am a mom of 4 on my own. I've got 4 little kiddos. Right now they're 2, 4, 6, and 8. Super easy and fun to say. And so I am in the trenches. If you got little kiddos, you know. I'm married, I live in the Pacific Northwest, and I absolutely love it here. And I am just passionate about real food, making it easy, and also having more joy in our life. Now, I've been meal planning for 10 plus years. It was something that I started doing kind of in the beginning of my marriage. I began doing it really to watch our budget. We were a young couple, we didn't have that much money, and I had a certain food budget that I needed to stick within. I would go from store to store, trying to find the best deals, but I always went in with a grocery list, which was built around a meal plan. Now, I still love saving money, and I find having a plan and getting the groceries that you need can really help with that. But what I find the most helpful with having a meal plan is just to reduce my stress, reduce decision fatigue. If you are a parent, you know there are so many decisions to be made. Little kiddos are coming and asking questions all the time. And if you're not a parent, life just has so much that is being put on you, and you're making decisions, you're being asked questions, you're having to think and answer questions all day. So can I help you by taking one of those questions that you have to think about every day? What's for dinner? Off your plate. So I'm going to go over my 7 secrets, my strategies that I use, and I want you to watch to the end because I have a gift that I want to send you, and I'm going to share about that after I share my 7 tips. So like I mentioned, meal planning it helps me as a mom. It helps me to be present with my kids. It helps me to not feel frazzled. And my first secret that I want to share today is that you have to commit. Now, that doesn't mean you need to commit to my system or somebody else's system, but you just need to commit to the idea that meal planning can be helpful. And if you want to meal plan once a week, maybe every other week, once a month, it just depends on your life, your preferences. But the thing that matters so much is that we are consistent with it. You know, if we meal plan for 1 week, maybe 2 weeks, and then we just let it go for 6 months, that's not going to help us. So I want you to think about what will that look like in your life? Can you commit to meal planning over the weekend? Or maybe you do it once a month and you just think about the 4 weeks that are coming up. What is going to work in your life so that you can commit to doing it, because success comes in repetition and continually doing something. It's going to become a habit, and the secret sauce there is that it's going to get easier. The more we do it, the easier it becomes. So my first tip is to commit, whether that is weekly or monthly, every other week, or whatever it looks like in your life. Commit to that one thing. Okay, tip number 2 is to keep a family favorites list. Now, what is a family favorites list? It's pretty much what it sounds like. It is a written list, whether it's written in a notebook, on a piece of paper that you put on the fridge, on your phone, on your computer, wherever it makes sense for you to keep this list of meals that your family loves. Now, these are not meals that you want to try or that you wish that your family liked. These are meals that you have made, and you know most people are going to be happy when you make it. It doesn't take too much time to make. You know, it's something that you don't feel stressed out when you're making. And the reason that we want to have this list is because when we go to meal plan, we can get stuck with that thing I mentioned earlier, decision fatigue, deciding what the heck is for dinner. And if you have a resource, this notepad that you have filled out with meals that you guys love, then it's going to make that so much easier. So that if you're starting to feel a little stumped on what you're going to write down on your list, and you're just not feeling like you want to try new things or get creative in the kitchen, what you can do is just go reference it, and maybe you pick a few meals that you know everybody loves, and you just keep coming back to those because they are there to be your supportive friend, that when you're stuck, instead of calling up a friend and maybe hearing about what their family likes to eat, you know what your family likes, and you can reference that and use that anytime you go to meal plan. Weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, however often you decide to meal plan. Strategy number 3 is to use themes if you like them. So this is gonna work, if you like themes, if you like that light structure that comes with it. So here's what that looks like in our house. I am definitely a light structure kind of person, but I love the tradition that it brings. So every Friday, I know in our house we are doing pizza and family movie. Now the pizza topping or type, that's gonna change just based on what we decide that we want to have, whether we're making it at home, if we decide to pick up a pizza and bring it home. But I always know Friday, that's what we're having, some kind of pizza, and it makes it so easy. So if I have a week that I'm feeling really creative, I can get really creative with the toppings. If I have a week when I am tired and I don't want to think about it, hey, I check out the local place in town and I say, give me a pizza because mama needs a night off. And it's okay to have those nights. We can meal plan with the thought of, on this day, we're gonna get takeout or we're gonna be going out on a date night. It's all part of just looking at your week and what that's gonna look like. So some other themes that I love, Taco Tuesday, which doesn't mean we're always having tacos. It just means we're having some kind of Mexican meal. Often we have tacos, or we have taco salad, maybe enchiladas, maybe we're having some kind of loaded quesadillas, maybe we're having some burrito bowls. There's so many different ways that you can change up your Taco Tuesday. Even with the tacos, you could change the protein that you're using. You could change the sauce that you're going to put on it, whatever vegetables you want to add. So we can change that up. But again, we have our loose theme of Taco Tuesday on that day. As we are heading into the colder weather, wherever you live, you might be heading out of it. We love Soup Sunday. It's so comforting in the wintertime, and I also love Salad Sunday. In the summertime, when it's a little hotter, you can kind of flip between those two. I just love the, Salad Sunday, Soup Sunday. It's just fun to say, but it's great to have that theme. It's comforting and warming and something that I can change a ton because, hello, how many different soup recipes are there in the world? There are a ton. I have so many on my website as well. Soup is easy, and you can change it up. So we've got that light theme right there. Maybe your family's a big casserole fan. So maybe on Thursdays you have casserole night. And again, you can change that in so many ways, but you're bringing that light structure. So in this, I want you to think about, what are the themes that your family tends to gravitate towards? Do you guys love to barbecue? Do you guys love to do a family style meal where you've got lots of different components out and you've got your protein, your veggies, your starch, and a bunch of different sides? Is that something that's really fun? But you can just change all the components. Think about what your family likes. Maybe write down 2, 3, 4 themes that you tend to rotate through. And then just put them in what day of the week it makes sense, knowing that you can always change it. You can have tacos on Wednesday. It just won't sound as cool as Taco Tuesday. But just make that work. And if themes sound really fun, I encourage you to just give them a try because they can be helpful in the meal planning time. Okay, this next tip number 4, really leads in from the last tip of having a theme, and it's to easily add more variety in. Now, you might be saying, Heather, how do we easily add variety in? Doesn't that take work? Okay, I'm gonna break this down and we're gonna keep talking about Taco Tuesday because I think this is one area that you can really add so much variety. I mean, I'm sure if I really got down to it, I could write down 100 different ways that you could make Taco Tuesday different. But I'm gonna give you 5 or 6 ways. Okay, so our like standard go-to Taco Tuesday is ground beef with taco seasoning, lettuce, tomato, cheese, sour cream, and then tortillas. We often do corn tortillas, but there's a place that you can add variety as a type of tortilla. So just imagine that that is our base recipe. This is the standard. Maybe you have a taco recipe, taco toppings that your family does, and you keep going back to it. And the family is starting to say, oh, we're having tacos again. Yay. I feel like I was myself right there as a 10-year-old talking to my mom. But maybe you've heard that before, just the non-excitement of a meal that is made over and over again. Okay, so how can we start to get a little more creative, keeping it in the taco theme? All right, so instead of using ground beef, let's change that up. And instead, let's use ground turkey or ground chicken. Or you do ground pork with, instead of a standard taco seasoning, you do a chorizo seasoning. I have a tasty chorizo recipe on my blog that I would really love to share with you guys. So that's one way to change it. Easily change up the protein that you're using. Maybe you get rid of the meat and instead you do some beans with some roasted sweet potato. That would be delicious. So right there, we're adding some variety. Okay, so in my base taco, I said that we often will use lettuce and tomato as our veggies. But I also love to do a slaw with our tacos, and especially if I'm doing like a fish taco, oh, it is just the perfect pair. So you can shred up some cabbage, shred up some carrot, dice up some green onion, and put your favorite mayo in it with some seasonings, and then you have a delicious taco slaw to go with that right there. Okay, so maybe you don't want slaw, maybe you're like, I'm not feeling cabbage. We just don't like that very much. What are some other ideas? All right, we can change it by shredding some Brussels sprouts with some apples together. Another tasty, crunchy, fresh flavor to pair with your spicy taco meat that you're using. The sweetness from the apple pairs so well with that taco seasoning. That's another way to change that up. Maybe you don't want to have any kind of lettuce or slaw, so instead you make like an avocado pineapple salsa with tomatoes, and you've got some cilantro and some onion and some lime juice, some seasonings, and instead you use that. So right there, we've already listed a bunch of ways that we can change our tacos. And we didn't even talk about, we can use corn tortillas. We could use little street taco tortillas. They're so cute. You could use flour tortillas. If you're looking for a different option that's grain-free, you could use almond flour tortillas. You could even nix the tortilla, serve it over some rice, and turn it into a burrito bowl. See right there, there are so many different ways that we can just change up this one meal. And I want you to start to think about a favorite meal that your family likes to enjoy. Maybe you guys love spaghetti. I grew up with Monday night spaghetti night every week, and I definitely had weeks that I was not excited about it. But if your family has been enjoying that, but they want a little variety, change up the pasta shape. Instead of spaghetti, maybe use a penne, or you use little macaroni noodles, or you find a different shape that's just really fun and your family gets excited about it. Maybe you add in a little bit of cream cheese into the sauce to make it this creamy tomato-based sauce. And it's just one little step, but it makes such a difference in that. Maybe you add in some chopped veggies that you saute up before it goes into the sauce, or maybe at the end, instead of serving it straight out of the pot, you put it in a casserole dish, top it with some cheese, pop it in the oven, and turn it into a pasta bake. So there's a lot of ways we can change that one meal. And I want you to start to think about these different ways that you can craft a favorite meal with some little tweaks, because it's going to give you that variety that you're looking for if you're feeling like you're in a bit of a dinner rut and your family just wants to look forward to a meal that's a little bit different. All right, let's get into tip number 5, which is my favorite strategy that I use every single week. I use it within my meal plan membership as well, which is to use some smart meal planning strategies of repurposing your protein. So if you are not a fan of leftovers, you're really gonna love this tip. So the way that I craft our meals is I think of the dinner that we're going to have on one day, and I double that protein that I'm cooking. So I have extra protein that I set aside. We have our normal first meal, and then I transform that protein that I have cooked in a bigger bulk amount into a totally new meal. So instead of taking the full meal and trying to turn it into something new, that can get a little tricky just depending on what it is. Using this strategy of repurposing the protein makes this so easy for you to just take the flavors into something completely new. You can do this within your themes if you're using themes, and I'm going to give you an example right here. So say we're making chicken tacos. We cook up our chicken. Before we add all that seasoning, we're gonna set half of it aside. We're gonna be saving that for another day later in the week. We flavor up our chicken for our chicken tacos, serve it with a slaw or veggies or whatever in our tortillas. However we wanna have those, that's our first meal. And then later in the week, we're gonna take that same chicken. It's cooked, it's ready for you. That is saving you time right there. And we're gonna turn it into a delicious Harvest chicken and kale salad that is just so flavorful from the dressing. And I'm talking to you right now about an exact meal that I'm thinking of. But right there, we took that protein and we transformed it into something new. And I love this strategy so much because protein is often the most expensive part of our grocery budget. And if you can find an amazing deal and stock up on it, load it up, fill up your freezer, then you have an abundance of it. And you might be thinking, like, what am I gonna do with all this protein that I found a great deal on? If you think about using a double amount, you're going to work through that a little quicker and just utilize that protein that you found at a great price. Now, of course, you can get it at a regular price, but I am a family of 6, 4 kiddos. So when I can save money, I am always doing that because we go through so much food. Okay, so another example of repurposing your protein is to make some beef meatballs. And you could serve them one night just with some barbecue sauce, serve a little slaw on the side with some roasted potatoes. I love to call these ingredient meals. We've got our protein, our veggie, and then our carb, and it's just easy to throw together. So that's our first one, but we've made a double amount of those meatballs. Later in the week, we're gonna turn that into some Mediterranean quinoa bowls where we've got the meatballs, we've got some quinoa, we've got those fresh veggies like cucumber and tomato, we've got feta, maybe some olives if you like that, and then over a delicious dressing to go with it all, just to bring it all together. 2 totally different flavor profiles, but made together with one protein. Time-saving strategies, and I use this every week, every month, all the time because it is just so dang smart. I'm going to tell you more about that after I get through our final 2 strategies. Okay, so the 6th secret to successful meal planning and getting dinner done is to really think about your schedule. What is your week going to look like? When are you going to have time to make dinner? And this is really important if you have activities in the evening and you're not going to be home when you want to be making dinner. You have to plan ahead. So maybe you do a little bit of prep the day before or the weekend just to get a little bit ahead when you know that you have those busy evenings coming up and you really want to give yourself and your family that home-cooked meal, but you don't want to be stressed out about it. So this is where it's really helpful when we are meal planning that you have your schedule out, that you look and maybe you want to do a casserole on Thursday, but you see that you're not going to get home till 6:30. Okay, what is that going to look like? Can you pre-make that casserole so all you have to do is just reheat when you get home, or just do some finishing touches and then pop it in the oven? Think about what your schedule looks like and then plan those meals accordingly. Pick the meals that might take a little bit more time when you have a little bit more time to do that, or prep a little bit in advance. But utilizing your schedule with your meal planning is going to be crucial to make this work for you. And that's what you want. You want to make it work for you because this is your strategy to make dinner easier. Okay, final tip, number 7, and this is probably my second favorite because the smart protein strategy is probably my first. I use it all the time, but I also use this strategy a lot, which is to be a meal plan rebel. Now, you probably were not expecting to hear that, but let me explain what that looks like. So I meal plan. I have our week laid out. I know that on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all those days, what I have planned that we're going to be eating. But then the day comes and the day just doesn't go how I'm hoping, or I really just don't want to have that meal that I cooked. You have the power to change it up. You can rebel against your plan a little bit. Now, I don't want to say plan and then never follow your meal plan, but it's okay to make Thursday's meal on Monday and then Monday's meal on Thursday. Switch it around. Or if you just don't feel like you have time to make that meal that you want, just do something so simple. I love doing like breakfast for dinner on those nights when I get really tired and I just don't feel like cooking what I actually planned. Just bring out those really easy meals and give yourself the grace that you don't have to be perfect, that you can change it up, make it work for you. And then once you've, skipped a day, had something else, just the next day, see if it makes sense to get back on your meal plan because you have the groceries around, you have the plan, maybe you have a little bit prepped, and it's truly there to help you, not to add stress, not to make you feel like you're doing more, but it's there to help you to do less. Now, those are my 7 strategies. So I want to share a gift that I would love to send you, and it's 2 things. I want to send you my meal planning template. So this is just for writing out the meals that you're going to have during the week. But I also want to send you a free done for you meal plan because sometimes it can be really helpful to just see what a smart meal plan can look like. And those meals that I mentioned to you, the chicken tacos, the kale salad, the barbecue meatballs, and those quinoa bowls, they are in this meal plan that I want to send you. So if you go and look at the link down below, you can go grab that right there and try it out. See how it feels to have this meal plan that is done for you. Use it as some inspiration. And I also want you to know that any questions that you have about meal planning, send them my way. I am happy to help. I will put my email address down below as well. If you want to pop any questions to me, feel free to. I'm here to support you, and I want you to know that you can have meal planning success, because what that's going to mean is that you can have success with feeding your family and feeling more joy in that as well, because that matters so much. All right, if you enjoyed this, come and connect with me over on Instagram at Fit Mama Real Food and just pop into my DM and say, hey, let me know that you're coming from this training, and I would love to connect with you. And I just thank you so much for being here. Remember, go grab those freebies down below, and I will talk with you soon. Bye.